You know, we have an asteroid headed towards us called Apophis. It will hit us April 13th, 2036. So at some point, you got to sit down and pay attention.
Our Earth is in grave danger. In a little around 6 years from today, on April 13th, 2029, the biggest asteroid ever recorded will come terrifyingly close to our home planet. This infamous asteroid bears the ominous name 99942 Apophis, and its impending visit is sending shivers down our collective spine. In fact, if it hits, it'll create a tsunami so great that it will wipe clean the entire west coast of the United States, leaving nothing but chaos in its wake. We dive into the heart-pounding reality and explore our desperate race against time to safeguard our world.
Apophis, when you ran the calculations, showed that there was a chance of it hitting us in the year 2036, with a close approach in the year 2029 on April 13th.
Let's go back to the year 2004, a time when our knowledge of near-Earth objects was still in its infancy. Astronomers at the Kitt Peak National Observatory in Arizona made an astounding discovery. They stumbled upon an asteroid initially named 2004 MN4, but later renamed Apophis after the Egyptian god of chaos and destruction. It's like something out of a movie, right? Apophis is no ordinary space rock. It's about 1,200 feet wide, which is like 4 football fields lined up end to end. Now, that's not too big on a cosmic scale, but among near-Earth asteroids, that is substantial. What makes it even more fascinating is its unique orbit and characteristics. This asteroid is a bit reddish, hinting at a stony composition with a touch of metal. So, scientists couldn't help resist studying this cosmic gem to learn more about the early building blocks of our solar system. Now, you might be wondering, how do astronomers even spot these objects in the vastness of space? Well, it's a testament to human ingenuity. See, we use high-tech telescopes with super-sensitive sensors to scan the night sky. And once we detect something moving against the backdrop of stars, we keep a close eye on it, tracking its path to predict where it's headed. If this Apophis asteroid were to actually collide with our planet, it would be like setting off an explosion more than 100,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima during World War II. The immediate impact would affect thousands of square kilometers, and everyone on Earth would feel the effects of the dust and debris that would go up into the atmosphere.
And if it does, it will likely hit the Pacific Ocean, plunge into a depth of 3 miles, explode, cavitate the ocean, send waves of tsunamis.
There's an interesting concept called a keyhole, which is like throwing a stone into a pond and watching how it skips on the water's surface. If Apophis passes through a specific keyhole during its 2029 flyby, it might set itself on a collision course for 2068. But here's the catch. We don't have a lot of time to figure out what to do. During a recent meeting of space experts in London, they said it could take decades to come up with the technology and plans to change the asteroid's course. The bottom line is that it's not a matter of if an asteroid will hit Earth, but when. Now, the smaller ones usually burn up in our atmosphere and don't cause much trouble, but those bigger than 1 kilometer in width, they hit Earth every few 100,000 years. And the really huge ones over 6 kilometers, which could cause mass extinction? Yeah, those collide with Earth every 100 million years or so. We're kinda overdue for a major cosmic event, and it's time to get prepared. If we focus on Apophis, it's estimated to be about 885 feet across, which is just a bit smaller than the famous Eiffel Tower. Its mass is a staggering 2.1 times 10 to the 10th power of kilograms. Now, those numbers might not mean much to you, so let's put it into simpler terms. The asteroid that created Arizona's meteor crater is believed to have exploded with a force of about 3 to 10 megatons of energy. If Apophis hits, it would be likely to deliver the equivalent of 880 megatons of energy. To put that into perspective, the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima during World War II released only about 0.15 megatons of energy.
The first one from the impact, the second one because the water splashes back into the cavity, goes high into the air, drops back down, and sends another pulse. This will go on about 40 times.
Now, let's talk about the real-world consequences of Apophis hitting. Where it lands is crucial in determining the extent of the damage. If it hits land, it's gonna flatten thousands of square miles of land. If it hits a major city like London, for example, it would level the area, causing the loss of millions of lives. Thankfully, the odds of Apophis hitting a populated area are small. In fact, the odds of it landing on land are also not very high, given that about 75% of the Earth's surface is covered by oceans. So, statistically speaking, it's more likely that Apophis would land in the ocean. Now, before we move on to discuss the catastrophic scenarios involving asteroid impacts on Earth, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to stay updated on the latest science news and fascinating discoveries. Now then, you might be thinking to yourself, if it lands in the ocean, we'll be safe, right? Well, here's the thing. Landing in the ocean comes with its own set of consequences. When you throw a rock into a calm lake, you see ripples spreading in all directions. Now imagine a massive rock, in this particular case Apophis, hitting a gigantic lake, aka the ocean. It would send out waves in all directions, leading to catastrophic tsunamis, possibly affecting multiple continents. Considering that a significant portion of the world's population lives in coastal cities, the potential death toll could be staggering. Now, to give you an idea, renowned scientist Neil Degrasse Tyson warned that a tsunami or a series of tsunamis triggered by Apophis landing in the Pacific Ocean could wipe out the entire west coast of North America. Tyson explained that all the human-made structures like houses and factories would be churned into a force that essentially sandblasts the entire west coast clean. That's how devastating it could be. Let's dive into what happens after an asteroid smacks into Earth. It's not just the immediate chaos of cities in ruins or coastlines submerged sometimes. Asteroid impacts can also mess with our planet's climate. The most famous example is when a space rock struck Earth about 60 million years ago, causing extreme climate change that played a role in wiping out most of the dinosaurs. It was kind of like a prehistoric dinosaur movie, but for real. So here's some good news. Apophis is not as large as the asteroid that spelled doom for the dinosaurs, so some experts think it might not throw enough stuff into the air to cause long-lasting climate shifts. But hold on, because other experts believe that Apophis could still mess with our climate, so there's still a bit of a debate going on. Just remember that not all climate changes caused by nature are terrible or permanent. Take volcanoes, for example. When they erupt, they can shake up the climate, but it's usually temporary. Now, when it comes to defending Earth from asteroids like Apophis, it gets a little bit tricky. There are thousands of these potentially hazardous objects, or PHOs, out there in space, and Apophis is just one of them. But here's the catch. We don't have a practical way to deal with these space rocks right now. Scientists are brainstorming ideas to change an asteroid's path. One thought is to put something between the asteroid and Earth, hoping it'll slow down just enough to avoid a crash. But pulling this off would mean launching several precise space missions in a short time. Another idea is to use lasers to slow down the asteroid so that it misses Earth. However, here's the deal. All these ideas are more like science fiction for now. We don't have a practical asteroid defense system ready to go.
By the way, no, you don't want to movies want to blow them up. But a kinder, gentler way is you deflect it, either ahead of us or behind us.
They've thought about some unusual ideas too, like using nuclear-powered spacecraft. These could provide a lot of power, but we haven't tried them out yet. The favorite approach, and probably the easiest, is to send a spacecraft to collide with the asteroid, nudging it onto a different path. The European Space Agency is planning something like this with their Don Quixote mission. 2 satellites will head to an asteroid. One will crash into it at high speed, while the other will watch and measure the change in the asteroid's path. Using explosives to push an asteroid away isn't a favorite idea among astronomers because it could break the rock into pieces, making things worse. So for now, the focus is on changing the asteroid's path and not blowing it up. As scientists keep working on ways to protect us from asteroids, one thing is super clear. It's not a question of if, but when a space rock as big as Apophis, or even bigger, comes close to our part of the solar system. With radar observations and simulations, experts are getting ready to understand and handle potential future encounters with asteroids like Apophis. It's like Earth's cosmic insurance policy. So I'd just like to say thank you everybody for going on this deep dive with us today. We'll see you in our next episode.